afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Jonesboro Rotary. Pre-Thanksgiving edition of the Jonesboro Rotary. We're going to start today with Alex Martin giving us the invitation.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to join together in Rotary. That you bless and guide our decisions here for the betterment of Sanford and the world. Bless the food for the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies in service to Christ. Amen. Amen.
Appreciate it.
Before we get started, I've got a email here from Tommy Rosser that the Cider City Club had an auction, and there was a vacation package that the guy bought, and he can't use it. So, I'll give you the email.
Ohio is still interested?
There are a few things to it, so let me just read it.
It's not neighbors, is it?
No time. All right, we got a one-bedroom condo which sleeps 4 in the Wyndham Kingsgate Resort, which is 1 mile from Colonial Williamsburg. The drawback is it's the week of December 2nd through December the 9th. Amenities at the resort include indoor-outdoor pool, tennis, miniature golf, movie theater, computer and video gaming center. Other attractions in the area include Jamestown, Yorktown. You know what those are? The Busch Gardens, which are on the weekend, non-smoking resort, and pets are not allowed. That can't take a load. So, anyway, if you're interested about it, I've got the email address and contact for the Cider City Club. That. This is a good weekend coming up for Nash. Nash is going to the Young Professional Summit on Friday and Saturday. And then Saturday, she is riding to Winston-Salem to the Clemson Wake football game. Which I'm planning on going myself. Looking forward to that. So she's going to come back with lots of new ideas and things to share with us. So we'll get her to do that. We've got the foundation banquet tonight in Greensboro. Larry and Jim and myself are going. They're coming by.
It's real cute.
Rocking their car at the house, and I'm driving up there. So please give us prayers on that. Still deciding to know today whether the 22nd of December we should meet or not. The 29th we will not, but the 22nd. What I'm asking, who's going to be here 22nd, who's not? How about that?
I'm here.
So,
I'm here.
all right, there'll be a 5-meeting Rotary Club meeting that day. Looks like we will not meet the 22nd. So the 22nd is out. There you go. Thank everybody today who participated in the food drive. We got some stuff that we're going to take to. I'll get over to COC tomorrow. Thank you all for that. We'll do another one in, I think it's February. I'll look at the date to be sure on that. That's going pretty well for us.
David?
Yes, sir.
Back to that meeting again, I mean, what is the minimum you have to pay the fund? You don't want to get in a situation where you truly had 5 people show up and you're.
Yeah, we're not gonna, we got to have minimum for the year.
So no
22nd is out. So the 22nd and the 29th.
We can come to your office, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
come on. Bring your lunch.
So we'll be out those 2 days. All right, Dan, before we take that last bite, we'll have to call him. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. Let's see here. Well, we have one visitor at the club, and that's David Montgomery. Let's give him a big round of applause. John Ramsperger, you have a announcement.
Sure enough, we are ringing the bell with Salvation Army December 6th and 7th at Lowe's Foods in Sanford. Y'all know the drill. Did really, really well with Tuesday, December 6th. We only have one slot left. Got 3 or 4 to fill up for Wednesday, the 7th. So if you have not already done so, please. Oh, Janice is asking for it. Thank you, Janice. You're a doll. And yeah, put your name on there, please, and that would be fantastic. Oh, you already got a pen. Got another announcement, which is an update. Myself, President David, and past President Larry went to Edwards Elementary, and we did a fantastic program with Coach Cates, the assistant principal of Lee Senior High, and 7 of the Lee Senior football team, varsity football team members. They did a fantastic presentation this past Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock. And don't you know that the 5th grade class went bonkers? They loved it because the student athletes came with their uniforms on, just the jerseys. And they ad-libbed the 7 habits for the kids. And ad-libbed because Coach Cates, he had whispered to me before, he said, wow, they did better than I thought. Because he really didn't prep them that much. So they knew the basics of think, win, win, begin with the end in mind, that kind of thing. The kids asked them some great questions. It was a lot of fun. And so, David, Larry, and I, and all those that participated in this program, we often wonder who gets the most out of it. Rotarians had big, bright smiles because we love doing this stuff. The kids were going crazy for the leaders in front of them, which was the varsity football team. And then the varsity football kids did fantastic because they were showing leadership back to the 5th grade class at Edwards. So it was a lot of fun. So we're going to do this one more time. Cooperation was the theme, isn't that right? Cooperation was the theme for the month. We're going to do it this coming Tuesday at 12 noon. We're going to do a wrap-up. And so we've got 5 5th grade classes that we're responsible for. So we would desire and hope that we can get 5 Rotarians. I think we've already got 3, certainly. But please come. I know that a lot of you have already participated in this effort. But if you can come to Edwards Elementary Tuesday at noon, we're going to do a follow-up from about 12 to about 12:30.
Can we get a count on who's able to be there?
Who do you believe? If you believe you can come? I don't know what Tuesday it is, but it's this coming Tuesday at 12 noon.
22nd.
Is that right? 22nd? Yeah. And what we did, for example, last month is Larry and I combined classes, which we can do, but we would desire to have a little bit better ratios for that. But anyways, thanks.
Thank you, John. Yvonne, you have an announcement.
Right. Last week I started a sign-up sheet with Christmas fellowshipping, and it's being passed around again today. So if you did not sign up last week, please do so if you want to come, because I've gone ahead and have purchased the turkey and I've purchased the ham. So I'm going to be doing that. And then anybody that's got the names starting A through M, you can bring side dishes, and anyone with the names starting with N through C, you can bring desserts, and I think we're going to have a good crowd. And I'm going to go shopping to get the beer and the wine, and anything else that if anybody's got any special drinks, let me know.
You sure you want to ask that?
We will turn it into you before you leave.
Anyhow, I'm here to help. Anyhow, looking forward to all that.
Yvonne, thank you so much for that.
Hey, let me ask Yvonne about the toy. Now, we were trying to read your list, is it bring a toy or can you contribute cash?
And/or.
Okay, so money or toy.
Right.
Yeah.
Be greatly appreciated.
Okay, while we're on the subject of Yvonne, well, let's give her a big round of applause for that. What is it, like 24 layers? 14. Wow, I haven't had it yet, but it sure looks good. I can't wait to try it.
I'm
Better hurry.
I'm dipping into my past. These are some of the things that we had when I was growing up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Chris, you got an announcement?
So Christmas time is almost here, and the temple, we continue to expand programming, and we've got more and more things coming up. And the Christmas season is really jam-packed full of things. There is one event, though, that's kind of slipped through the cracks in terms of awareness. On Friday night at 7 o'clock, we're doing a joint production with Central Carolina Community College. At 12:30 in the afternoon, 300 college students are coming over to watch a play, and then at 7 o'clock, that play will be available to the general public. If you want to come at 12:30, you can squeeze in. The name of the play is Tired Souls, and it's about Martin Luther King and the Montgomery bus boycott back in the 60s. Mike Wiley from Chapel Hill, who Peggy likes to say is the playwright laureate of North Carolina, is an amazingly, amazingly talented author and actor. The college students that will come through, it'll be compelling for them. They're going to love it. But we invite you guys to come out. This is a one-night only affair, and we're really reaching the period very quickly where Mike Wiley's not going to be available to play venues like us anymore. He's really solidified his position in North Carolina, and he's starting to do a whole lot more stuff nationwide. It's a $10 ticket. It starts at 7. It'll only run for about an hour and a half, so you got plenty of time to go out, eat, drink, do whatever. But Friday night, the 18th, Tired Souls with Mike Wiley. It's a very compelling piece to make you think, and it will entertain you, I promise.
Thank you, Chris. Larry.
Yeah, I'll pass the bucket for shoulder box. Jim is not here today, and y'all should realize how dedicated he is. You probably all do, but
Let me start out with a 5.
he's out doing programs 2 or 3 times a month on behalf of Shoulder Box. And they're going into some areas that, I mean, are really kind of risky. When he was talking the other day about Mosul and going over into Syria, I mean, Rotary's really reaching out. And so I think we're around $500 or $600 collected from the club, which he plans to match by the end of the year. So let me pass this around, and we owe a real debt of gratitude for what he's doing.
You mentioned Mosul. Now, when you say Rotary's going out, who's actually delivering shelter boxes in that region?
Well, I really don't know. That's a good question to ask him, because I wouldn't be one of them signed up to do that. And I don't know how they can ask people to go in. So whether they contract out to get those in there, but they're going in. They're going around there somehow.
Thank you. Any other announcements come from the club at this time? How about any brags? Alex.
I got one.
Yeah. What you got?
Stand back up.
Oh, no.
You gotta stand up. As you can see by Larry's name tag, he did go back to medical school. He got his degree, and I'm just so proud of him for doing that. I wanted to brag.
Yeah. Now, Rupert, he's been back there for 5 minutes looking for his bag. Every single one.
I was actually going to wait and see if you won the raffle.
Alex, thanks for spotting that for me.
Terry, you got something to share with us?
I got a bag for sale.
Come on up here, Terry.
Well,
Hey, it's got to be good if you can top that
Look
one.
how the picture of you're gonna spoil the brag.
appointments into
That's so funny. Anyway, talk to our youngest member of the Rotary Club, Dad, about every week. And he told me to make sure that tell his baby hi.
Thank you.
Tell him his baby hi.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the big brag is, I know the Olympics is over, but I will be videoing all the gold medal winners from the track and field down at University of South Carolina all weekend. So I'll be around all the gold medal winners. That's my little brag.
Yes, Neil.
I've
Whoa.
got,
Oh, he's got some money.
well, just 3 because my wife and I went up to my daughter's house to celebrate her birthday and my grandson's birthday, which is on the same day, and my birthday, which was 2 days before that. So
All right, happy birthday. Okay, any other brags? Okay, I'm gonna chime in on that birthday thing. Today is my dad's 89th birthday.
Whoa.
Yeah, 89, yeah. All right, any other brags or announcements coming for the club at this time? Back to you, President David.
Thank you very much, Van. Before we get on with the program, we are going to call up Mr. David Van and give him his benefactor award.
Jaw dropping, I mean.
You look scared.
He is. Good to have you here today.
Sorry. Co-op meeting.
All right. Call John Ransburg up here to introduce our guests.
Thank you, President David. Whether you all know it or not, City of Sanford, County of Lee, and the Town of Broadway are going through a new land use plan. We had and still have, a 2020 land use plan in effect. And as planning goes, it's time to figure out how we as a community want to grow. And so that's what David Montgomery is here to talk about. David is the Transportation and Long-Range Planner for the City of Sanford, Lee County, Town of Broadway. He's been in that position for over a year. Mr. Montgomery received his graduate degree in urban planning at the University of Florida and undergraduate degrees in business administration and urban studies at Furman University. Mr. Montgomery and his wife April, who've been married for 16 years, have 3 sons, Eli, Forrest, and Cyrus. So please, a warm Rotary welcome for Dave Montgomery.
Thank you, John. And I'm going to stand over here. That's bright, and I kind of like to work in the background. So, as John mentioned, we are currently, our planning staff is updating our future land use plan. We're calling it Plan San Lee. So, basically, the last time that we've did a land use plan, as John mentioned, was 1999. And it's quite outdated. So we're in the process of working with a consultant to update that land use plan. And just like in your business or in your world, your nonprofits, planning is the key. So just like your businesses, great communities are planned well in advance. And as I mentioned before, the last one was done in 1999. And if you had the opportunity to come through us, through a rezoning or anything like that, it is very outdated and not very user-friendly. And so that's the primary reason that we're doing it. The real reason, though, is we want to provide a long-range comprehensive planning tool that focuses on the policies that guide our built environments. Anytime somebody comes into our office to rezone a property or has a site plan or a subdivision, the staff is going to look at that future land use plan and says, are what you requesting in conjunction with or in agreement with that land use plan that was adopted in 1999. But as the community or as the development has occurred, sometimes there's a conflict there. So when we do this, this gives the decision makers the ability to say, that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense. Basically what the plan will do is not only identify future areas of growth outside of the cities, but it also will help promote infill revitalization, reinvestment, and reuse. So we're not just focusing on future growth areas, we're also going to be looking at investment opportunities with our existing infrastructure inside of our towns.
David, what is infill? What does that word mean?
Infill would be a property that might be currently vacant or that has been demolished, that has existing water and sewer, roads and things of that sort,
like a built-out neighborhood that's a lot is suddenly become available or was never built on.
Or in a downtown environment where something has been raised, where there's an opportunity there, that there probably would not be that much public investment needed. And that's what we're going to try to encourage people to do, is come back to areas that have those opportunities.
That's what I asked next. When you say promote, you use the word encourage. What do you mean?
Well, we'll incentivize people to consider, whether we waive tap fees or something like that. We're have public-private partnerships in order to encourage that as well. This is an example of a land use plan in Apex. And not only are we going to try to identify the future land use, whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial, but we're also going to talk about density of residential, but also intensity of commercial or industrial uses. As I said before, it helps the city council, the county commissioners, town of Broadway, when they're making their decisions, they're going to say, is what the developer requesting congruent with what we said the plan was going to say. And it also gives developers, residents, an idea of what is expected by the community at large, because we've gone through that process. And the land use plan does not involve land use. These are other considering factors when designing the land use plan: economic development, transportation, historic preservation, fire and rescue, schools, environmental issues, parks and rec. Again, it's a blueprint. Also identifies the areas that we want to be urban and those areas that we want to be preserved for rural or low density residences. Also, I mentioned where higher density development should occur. From the planning staff's perspective, the city of Sanford and Lee County have been real hesitant when we talk about density, because sometimes it's a scary word. I think people have in their mind the city of New York when you talk about higher densities. But higher density done with good quality could be a good thing. Your infrastructure costs are a lot lower. Your fire and rescue services are a lot lower, the higher the density is. You start expanding out, those costs go up a lot higher. It also helps in competing for grants when you have a good land use plan. So I'm going to promptly talk about where we've been in the process. This is currently where we are. Right here, we're in the preparation of the draft plan. We initiated the plan in April 2016 using our Joint Planning Commission as our steering committee. And since that time, we've gone out and had a series of stakeholder meetings. We've done some public meetings. And then after the preparation of the draft plan, we're going to have the final plan in April and June, kind of the summertime, and hopefully adopted by 2017. But I'm going to concentrate most of my discussion about what's transpired so far. Working with our consultant, they've done a lot of background information. See all these plans? These are all the plans that we have worked on, or Parks and Rec Department has worked on. So they've looked at all those plans that we've already had to help in design of this. This is also looking at what is the existing land use. This is the existing land use pattern that's developed. We're also looking at our demographics. This is just one example of some of the demographics, and I'll show you some more of those specifically. So I mentioned earlier that we had a series of stakeholder meetings, and like I mentioned, the land use plan wants to take into consideration a whole bunch of factors. So we actually sat down with these groups, with the membership, the executive boards or whatever of these various groups in the summertime. We actually sat down with them for an hour trying to get information from them, their comments, what we could do to improve our land use plan, and we're going to kind of hit the highlights of those. I mentioned earlier we did some public meetings. We actually had 4 meetings in September and October. We had 50 participants in those meetings, and they filled out 70 surveys as a result. So these are just a summary of some of those comments from those stakeholders, and also I'm going to include some information of the statistics the consultant developed. I'll kind of break these up into different categories. And what we found is that a lot of the things that the different groups were talking about sometimes talked about the same issues, even though they were in different categories. And I want to mention that these are just some of the key points from those stakeholder meetings. It's not all the information that we attained. Number 1, we desired a parcel-based future land use map to guide development decisions. Our 1990 plan, I call the amoeba plan, because basically it had circles or ovals or something like that. But in the development world, developers, planners, they're working with parcel-based data. So before, you would have an amoeba going right in the middle of the parcel, and that's kind of hard for a decision maker to make a decision on something when the plan is saying 2 different things. So one of the things that we were going to strive to do is have a parcel-based land use plan. One of the comments that we heard in regards to land use was encourage higher quality development. That would be something that will come at the back end of this, if so chosen, where an ordinance would help encourage an update to our unified development ordinance would help us encourage higher quality development using the land use plan as the guide.
Could I focus on that encourage word again? What does that mean when you?
Is that like sidewalks? I mean that.
It could be
it's
design.
like sidewalks and curb and gutter and new development.
That's right. It could be design standards. We already have some design standards for certain corridors. This may open that up to other roads, not just our major corridors. Downtown could possibly be one, so yes. Compatible land uses. One example that was pointed out to us when meeting with the Jetport Authority was we've got planes flying, they have a flight path. Well, we don't want to put residential development north or south of that flight path because of the impact obviously on the residential, the noise and all that kind of thing. So that was one thing that was identified. Talked about infill before. Implement plan for new fire facilities and personnel. Even before we would grow as a result of this land use plan or identify growth areas, if you talk to the fire department today, they would say, we need a fire station now. Okay? Their current need is we need a fire station. If we're planning to grow in certain areas, okay, that just tells you that we may not just need 1, we may need 2 or 3, depending on where we're growing and how we're growing. One of the things that they addressed was connectivity, particularly between neighborhoods. If you look at their response times from the fire department, a lot of those cul-de-sacs that we have are deterrent to a good response time because they've now got to go around to get to certain neighborhoods. If we could get those neighborhoods to connect, those response times would be better. Growing needs for expanded health services was one thing that was mentioned. Another category that we broke down to was public works. We did, one of the plans that was adopted recently or worked on recently was our wastewater master plan. So we make sure that we work in conjunction with that wastewater master plan. Stormwater runoff was a big concern, not only for existing development, but the impact that new developments might have on sites. And we also need to make sure that we examine our utility extension policies. Most of those in the past have been driven by industrial uses. I think you'll see the council will want to look at even commercial and residential uses, revamping those policies. In regards to education, and unfortunately we haven't had the opportunity to talk directly with the school system, but these comments were made from other groups. They wanted us to consider returning to the neighborhood school concept. I think that's being done through the W.B. Wicker School as we speak. Connectivity between neighborhoods, schools, and parks, and continue successful school system programs, including vocational programs and community college. Everybody thought that those were good things to continue. And this is just one of the kind of the fact boards that we used in the public meetings. But as a result of those programs, we've seen higher high school graduate changes as a result. Over there, Central Carolina Community College ranked number 9 community college in North Carolina. So not only are what the people saying out in the community saying is important, we're seeing the results of that through the actual statistics. In regards to transportation, we're fortunate that as we're doing this land use plan, we're going to have the opportunity to update our transportation plan. NCDOT funds that transportation plan, so those things will be happening simultaneously. The need for stronger east-west connections. This is a big thing for the planning staff. North to south, our connections, our roads are great. East to west, they're a nightmare from a planning staff's perspective. And so those are the things that we want to kind of make sure that we identify in the land use plan. Colts was said was a great program, and they're currently through the Building Integrated Communities group working to meet that Latino population as that population grows. And again, we can see that through the statistics. Lee County, Sanford Lee County, has the number 1 proportion of Latino population in the RTP region. Okay? So it's 23.4% of our population in Sanford is Latino. When you look at it compared to Lee County, North Carolina, the US. And it was the number 3 growth rate population from 2000 to 2014. So it's continuing to rise. And those are the things that we need to take into account when we're developing the land use plan. Transportation, we talked about the east-west roads, the need for that. We heard this time and time again about Horner Boulevard and its aesthetics and its land use, that it needs to improve. We were told by realtors that when they have someone considering buying a house, they don't take them down Horner Boulevard because of it being a deterrent. That's not a good thing.
It's true. No, it's true. Doug Doris is sitting across from me, and when I would try to bring new docks into town for CCH, and it's not just Horner Boulevard, David Montgomery's a messenger here. It's Hawkins Avenue, it's US 1, it's 421, it's 87. And the first impression coming down from RDU, once you get past Cary and the Cary Parkway and all that kind of good stuff, you come down here and they kind of wrinkle their nose up and say, yeah. And then they meet with the real estate professional, and then they meet with staff at the hospital. But the first impression's been set. And a lot of times when I take them out to what we all might consider the nicer parts of town and the nice neighborhoods and all that, 100% of the time, their eyes get big and there's an aha that, wow, I didn't know this was here. Because their first impression is the Horner Boulevard corridor.
Right. And just to point out, we do have some NCDOT funding through SDI to make some improvements, and that would be from US 1 to the railroad tracks where the Taco Bell is.
No, it's the railroad track, Polly Cohen's. It's Lee Iron and Metal.
Right.
Cause I talked with the guys that had the aerial photographs, and that's where they said it was gonna stop there.
Other things that they mentioned in transportation was wayfinding, and we do have a plan underway for that. US 15501 in the tramway area, I won't get into that. We could have a whole 30-minute discussion on what's going on there, but there's a lot of
What's wayfinding? What is that?
wayfinding is signage to help the people coming to Sanford and Lee County, what kind of destinations we are, but also for the general public as well.
You don't have to tell us what's gonna happen. Is anything gonna happen there?
Yes, something
Is
is
it
going
gonna
to
be in the
happen.
next 10 years?
Yes.
Thank you.
We talked about connectivity before between residential areas. The connector of the Kelly Drive area. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with this, but to try to make Central Carolina more of a college, with a typical college setting, as opposed to having Kelly Drive bisect that campus. So that's one of the things that was identified. In downtown, and parking. We can talk about parking all day long about downtown. We continue to work on that. Diverse mix of residential uses. We have a considerable amount of affordable housing in what I consider the downtown proper. We would like some more market rate housing there. Want more diverse events downtown. And I thought this was really poignant. We have a lot of events for families, but we don't have a lot of events for adults. I think you're starting to see that a little bit with libations coming in, the Smoke and Barrel, but also we've got 2 brewers that one should be coming online within the next couple of months, and another one as well. So I think we're seeing a little bit of that happening. Businesses open after 5. We talked about design standards. Downtown would be one of those, and to address the population that is homeless in downtown. Historic preservation, raise public awareness of the importance of preserving our historic structures. They do offer an opportunity for revitalizing and living an urban lifestyle. And I talked about that diverse residential for downtown. Most of our historic districts are located near our downtown. Continue to promote Temple Theater as a regional destination. And also, let's not forget our agricultural roots or rural lifestyle. And that's something that we need to encourage. In regards to economic development, continue with the expansion of the jetport, and continue development of our Central Carolina Enterprise Park. Encourage more hotel development to support tourism. We've talked about getting legislation adopted in regards to a hotel motel tax that would support tourism efforts here. Continue to leverage good infrastructure. We've got great water, great sewer, but broadband speeds, those are types of other infrastructure needs that we need to consider. Develop co-working space downtown, and develop revitalization strategies for commercial centers. This one right here is the Jonesboro. Kendale, we're actually working on a redevelopment plan for the Kendale area as we speak. So looking at those specific opportunities, North Horner would be a prime example of one that we would look at. Here's some more statistics. Since 2005, manufacturing has gone down, but professional business services and education and health services have increased. this deals with the location quotient. In layman's terms, that's what you consume as a community versus what you have or what you produce. You can see Lee County, we're a manufacturing hub. We're almost at 3.5, but every other economic sector that we have is below 1. So all those dollars for those sectors are having to go outside of the county in order to reach. You look at our neighbor to the east, Harnett County, see how diversified they are? Much more diversified than we are. Not saying it's a bad thing to have that much manufacturing, that's high-paying jobs, but we have to look at those other economic sectors as well. This deals with the work travel patterns. We are in line with more weight in the state of North Carolina. We have a large workforce in Lee County that stays, and the residences stay here for those opportunities. Whereas Harnett, Chatham, and Johnson County, most of those folks are commuting to their job. This is a telling statistic as well. We've got 7,547 people going outside of the county for a job. We've got 10,660 people coming in to Lee County. That's a great statistic.
Is it really a good statistic?
I think so. Yes.
What money do we make off of that?
Well, you got to think of the businesses that are here. They're paying taxes. Now, John will tell you, Doug would have told you, it would be great to have those people living here. But I think it comes back to quality. It gets back to,
well, it gets back to standardized test scores at the high school and the middle and high and elementary. And I think that's where Ron was going, and you're right for referencing that. We would desire that the folks that are working here and came to Sanford for a job from some other place lived in Lee County as well. And I think that might be where the comment came from, which matter of fact, David and I were talking about that just before the program started. So yes, what will get them here, it's a lot of the same statistics and indices that you're putting up here, but schools have a lot to do with it. Perceived versus actual crime rate. It's multifaceted as anything else. But schools, test scores, crime rates, and even I think makeup and percentages and numbers and all that.
Yeah, 75% of the doctors that work in Lee County live outside the county.
They're out. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a really telling, I mean, I knew the answer, but
right.
I think it's really a telling statistic that we need to laser in on, because that's not just something that's going to go away as soon as you put up some new landscape downtown. You really got to focus on that, and I just hope when we talk 20, 30 years out there that we're working hard to overcome that.
I think, Ron, and let me offer, and David may have, I don't think I'm assuming too much, David may have alluded and pointed at myself, real estate stuff. It's chicken and egg. Field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. I'm not putting words in your mouth, David. No. But if we build the curb and gutter and if we put the granite countertops, and if we put the siding and the hardwood floors and everything in there, and we put a 1,400 square foot house on the ground on less than 1/5 of an acre, and we're trying to get $250,000 for it, but it's got a community park, sidewalks, playgrounds, and all this kind of stuff, will they come to Sanford and pay for that? Because the people that will support that product are probably making 6 figures, dual income. And we want them. I'm not being sarcastic whatsoever. But if a developer, which is a private industry, puts their neck out there and builds that product, will a consumer purchase it? And then that gets back to 5 minutes ago when I said, oh, look at this. Zillow says that Lee County High School is a 2 out of 10. That's a true statement. And then you look at all the indices there, and then that kind of sort of curtails and spanks us and says, oh, let's go to Apex. Sorry, I had to make
No,
a
no, no, that's
presentation.
fine.
I don't argue.
That's what's going
I don't
on.
want to take up any more of your time. I don't
Yeah.
argue that because I'm well aware of what you're saying. I'm just hoping that planners are figuring out that there's places we need to invest in.
Right.
That's
That-
going to
that's
help
what the
overcome
presentation
that.
But there's only a limit to
Yeah.
what the plan can do.
Oh, yeah.
Those other things, there's other entities that determine whether someone chooses to live here or not. It's not just the land use plan. Let's go on. Parks and Rec, again, growing a Latino community, they're big on parks. Looking at median age, Sanford, Lee County, much lower than Moore, Chatham. Again, I think you're getting into the quality of life issues. Younger people have higher expectations of Parks and Rec services. Natural resources, talking about water quality, air quality, extractive uses, those have been in the news lately. What is the impact of those, the fracking and all that kind of stuff? So I think marketing becomes an issue that we need to address. Farmland, agritourism plays a big role. Farmland, one thing I wanted to point out about this, farmland does not equal open space. I think there's a misconception of that. When you talk to farmers, they don't want to say that means open space. Housing, one of the things that was pointed out, there's a definite shortage of inventory under the $220,000 mark. Houses above that tend to sit on the market, but anything less than that. So those are the things we need to think about.
David, I'm afraid that we have to cut this short.
Okay.
Maybe you can come back.
Sure.
Finish it up.
Sure, we'll do.
Appreciate you coming. Too much stuff.
Stuff.
Too good.
Do want to point one thing out to you. You can go to our website to get the latest updates, plansandlee.com, and it's updated as new things come along. So,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Jeffrey.
All right, we got $45 today. Winner gets 23. And would you mind picking one of these for me? I don't have a little judge. Just pick one, anyone. There we go.
5140, the last four numbers.
No.
5140.
All right. Thank you all for being here today. Dave, thanks so much for that program. Like I said, the good thing about Lee County are the roads, and the bad thing about Lee County are the roads. Anything else for anybody's got for good Rotary Day? If not, Doug?
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Before we test some things, we say the
Spirit all concerned, will do goodwill and better friendships, individuals all concerned. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.